Now, listen up. 3, 2, 1.
It's showtime.
That's great.
This is ridiculous.
99.3 The Truth.
You can't handle the truth right now.
Ooh.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it. It's time for Mac's World.
And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Call Mac 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
It's showtime, everybody! Showtime!
Exclusively on 99.3 The Truth.
4:06 on a Friday afternoon on the 8th day of July, the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy. I gotta tell you. Thank you for listening. I love this job. Couldn't do it without you. This has been, we've been on the air a year down here in Des Moines, and it has been a year in which God has blessed us just unbelievably. The Satan, the accuser, the whatever you want to call him, has also been on the attack. So please always have your radio station in our prayers, that we will be, that we'll be surrounded by angels, and that evil spirits, evil thoughts, the accuser's way, will not penetrate the walls of this radio station. It's important that you pray for that, and I thank you for those prayers. All right. We are talking about Black Lives Matter and all the rallies that went on in major cities across the country yesterday and the day before and the day before. We are talking about the 5 police officers who were gunned down by one man. He also injured 10 others. This at the end of a Black Lives Matter rally that was held in Dallas last night. I've got Bob Montserrat, the cat in the hat, watching the chat and the Service Legends Truth text line. I've got Frank the Verse, and everything Frank says is not a responsibility of the radio station. Chris Roloff, and I have a young lady in here for the very first time whose name is Janelle Harrison, and she wrote what I would call a blog about what's going on right now in this country, and quite frankly, she's a very good writer. And Jebediah, of course, my right-hand man, is there, and he is producing the show. All right, Robert, you've got some texts from the Service Legends Truth text line.
Yes, I do. Here we go. Unbelievable. We are not listening to each other, but talking past each other again. Chris has a point. Frank is correct to a point. But that is not the issue. People are dying. Government can't fix this. What do we do about that? People mistrust the police. This will get worse unless we begin to look to God for help. This is a heart problem.
Boy, I like whoever said that. That was awesome. Any more?
Yeah, here, Frank and Tom, and that was before Tom hung up, add nothing to this conversation and the healing and the healing of this nation in regards to racial wounds.
Well,
can I say I like that?
That's my resident bigot.
Can I say I like that text too?
Racist? Yeah.
No, that one, the text.
Yeah, you can. Of course, you can say you like it.
All right, I like that one.
Okay. All right. So Janelle Harrison is here, and Janelle is a Des Moines girl.
Yes, sir.
Right. And she has aspirations to be a writer, and I think what she's about to read to you will show you that she may have her ball in the right court. She wrote this without editing. And I want you to read all or whatever you want of it. Earlier, I said try to shut it down or shorten it. Go ahead and read the whole thing if you want to, because it is a piece. Now, please read slowly.
I definitely
That's
will.
when she read it to me in the phone cake. It was kind of like this because we had to go to lunch. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So basically, after I saw the Dallas thing, I kind of, I wanted to make a video, kind of playing to the people. And really what sparked this blog, as we put it, is basically the Dallas police chief made a statement, and I'll start now. It says, "All I know is this must stop. This divisiveness between citizens and police. We don't feel much support these days. Let's not make today one of those days. Please, we need your support to be able to protect you from men like these who carried out this tragic, tragic event." This statement is exactly why we as citizens are protesting and standing against our police force. The men who carried out this event were not targeting the citizens protesting. They were targeting the police. You say we need you to protect us from men like these, but it is actually not us who, You say we need you to protect us from men like these, but it is actually us who need protecting from you. I'm not condoning...
Slow down.
Sorry.
You're doing fine. Don't hurry.
I'm not condoning the actions of these men or saying they're right at all. I'm merely trying to point out that people are acting out like this in a means of desperation. These problems have been occurring for decades, but through technology, we are becoming more aware of the severity of the situation at hand. This is a national problem, not local. And it's not just the black community that is being abused by the police. It is everyone. From being interrogated for a simple traffic stop while exercising your rights to the extremes of unarmed shootings and the unethical use of confidential informants. This problem is bigger than what is just being talked about in the media. We are scared to speak out because of the way police treat people who do speak out against their unethical practices. We see this through numerous videos posted to YouTube and other social media sites. I feel that the divisiveness comes from the distrust we as citizens have developed of the police protecting their own. Laws that were put in place to protect officers from true situations where they had to make hard decisions are now being abused. Even if a mistake is made, the officer is not held accountable until the public has to fight for the accountability to be taken. We shouldn't have to fight for this. It should be done in the first place based on morals. But I make a mistake or you make a mistake and we are arrested, charged, and put into jail. We hear different excuses each time. First, they act as any normal citizen would, or they want to say the officers are held to a higher standard than other citizens. Switching sides like this creates distrust. Police should be held to a higher standard than citizens, especially in tough situations. Our tax dollars pay for the training they get on how to handle this. Why else do we have the police academy and we don't just put officers in the field after 1 or 2 days of on-the-job training just like the rest of us get? No, they must complete a variety of tests and requirements, so they should be held to a higher standard. This comment from the police chief enraged me when he said we must not make one of those days today. Why is it when officers are hurt, we must come together, but the same is not reciprocated for a citizen when the citizen is harmed by police? As I've stated before, we are not just dealing with a race matter, though this is a major issue. We are dealing with the overall police using their authority to abuse citizens. Who's next? Your sister, your mother, your uncle, or your grandma? The point I am getting at is the chief asked for the divisiveness to stop, and it does need to stop. But we need to address the concerns of everyone involved, which is all of us. The next victim to this mess is unknown and could be anyone. New laws need to be made, and overall morality needs to change. Being an officer doesn't grant extra rights, and when in the presence of a police officer, no citizen should lose their rights. And I hope this makes you understand that anyone really can be affected and you never see it coming. When are we going to actually make change happen, and why is this not an issue our presidential candidates are addressing?
Very good. Good job.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Mom. You did something good with this one, didn't you? Yeah, all right. So, what should we be doing in your mind?
Well, I'm not saying I have the exact answer, but I do think that the citizens and the police need to come together, and we need to figure this out. I mean, what frustrated me is the protest came about yesterday in the first place because of those videos that came out. You know, we had, like we've stated, we had Louisiana, we've had Minnesota. That's why all those protests were going on yesterday. But yet now all of a sudden the police chief decides to say something because his officers were hurt. And that hurts my feelings because we're not important.
Right. So you're not against the police?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. And you're not in favor of Black Lives Matter? Or are you in favor of Black Lives Matter?
I believe all lives matter.
Okay. As a movement, are you okay with their movement?
The peaceful protest, yeah.
Okay. All right. 515-244-0077. That's the number you can call in and hear your voice, or you can text to Bob at Service Legends Truth Text Line 515-809-0993. Bob, go ahead.
Okay, what's happening in this country is humans don't care about each other anymore, and no one will put God first. Wow.
Yeah, That's a true statement. All right, Chris, you lived in Texas. You're from Texas. Texas is your home.
Uh-huh.
You're a
I'm from Fort Worth, by the way. I'm very proud to be from Fort Worth. Not from Dallas.
You're a Tex-Mex kind of guy.
Yeah.
You have lived all of your life with maybe even being in the minority, or middle-aged white men.
I grew up on the border in El Paso, where I was very much the minority. Sure.
Okay. What's the mindset?
but I'm not a minority in that sense. I'm still an overprivileged white kid, right? I've had no experience like a true minority would have. I lived in a part of the United States where white folks were a minority, but I did not experience what it's like to be a minority. No.
515-244-0077. There will be a Black Lives Matter rally event. What do they call it? Rally
protest. Yeah, KCCI reported that there was one being planned tonight. I point that out simply because it doesn't necessarily mean that it will happen. But I think that was the rumor here in Des Moines that there's going to be one tonight. So I don't know anything more about it, but that it was supposed to be at 5 p.m. downtown. So here pretty soon.
Yeah, and I have put my feelers out, but obviously with an hour's notice, it's kind of tough to get somebody. But I've called some people to see if they can get me somebody on the air from the Black Lives Matter group. So, all right, 5 officers dead, 10 injured, 1 sniper. All those people shot. He was eventually shot by police and killed. His name was Micah Johnson. In Texas, and there's no ISIS, Arab.
And he was blown up. Yeah. Just want you to know.
Blown up?
Yeah.
Blown up. He was blown up.
With a bomb.
By police.
Did you miss that part?
I guess I did.
Yeah.
We talked about the robots.
The robot blew him up.
I got to hear more about this when we come back. Every once in a while, things get really weird. They blew up. Coming back live on The Truth.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rock and Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
21 minutes after 4 o'clock, 4:21 on the 8th day of July in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy. We're talking about this tragedy in Dallas and why it may erupt here in Des Moines tonight. We are 39 minutes away from the start of a rally or a protest. They're also going to march downtown. It's our own Black Lives Matter group here in Des Moines, and they're going to meet at Cowles Commons, which, the umbrella. What did that use? Nolan Plaza. There you go. Hey, I want to remind you that retirement will come for you unless Jesus comes first. But if it does, you've got to be prepared. And I know I've told you on the radio before, I was great at making money, but I was even better at spending it. And so a few years ago, the guys at Weiss Merkel finally got a hold of me and said, Mac, you got to do something with that. So they have a passport to retirement. It's at Upper Iowa University, Tuesday, July 19th. That is 1 week away from this Tuesday. It's $50 for two people. I've got free tickets. So if you'd like to go, just call Jebediah at 515-244-0077. And let's get some folks over there learning more about retirement. Bob went to the seminar, and you said he really got a lot out of it. So yep. Appreciate you doing that. All right, 22 minutes after the hour, I have a studio full of passionate people. Your voice is welcome, 515-244-0077. That's the studio line. Or you can text the Service Legends Truth text line at 515-809-0993 and tell us what you think. Robert?
Yeah, I got one here, and it lists everything that could be done to fix this thing. Get rid of the culture of death, abortion, rebuild a family, localize schools and bring back God and patriotism, promote religion and don't attack it. We must be responsible and respectful.
I don't know who that person is, but they hit it right on the head, right? Bring God back into the schools. Get rid of this death attitude. Make families the most important thing. And I don't like the word they used, religion, but bring back relationships with God. Go out there and do what Jesus said in Matthew 28 and go make disciples of all men and share the everlasting love of Jesus Christ. If everybody loved Jesus, or most people love Jesus, think of what difference this world would make. But that's why we're here. Have you made any disciples today, Mr. Roloff?
No.
Mr. Frank?
I don't know.
The answer is no, then.
I don't know who I am.
He may have accidentally
I don't know who I am.
He tweeted.
So I wanted to add something to that, too. But it's really about loving yourself as well, too.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people have lost that, and that's kind of where we get lost as well.
Yeah, you can't give away something you don't have inside.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's very...
Exactly.
Yeah, Janelle makes such an important point. And, that's the part of Christ that is personal for me and hopefully for you. You know he loves you. You know he loves you unconditionally. And you know that he'll give you that makarios, that unstoppable, never-ending joy. You'll look in the mirror and you'll see all these things that are wrong because we're a broken, messed up world. But then ask Papa what he thinks of you, and he'll tell you, I love you just the way you are because you were created in my image, and that's how I wanted you to be. You're exactly right, Janelle. Frank?
I would have one drop of sympathy for the Black Lives Matter movement if they weren't killing each other in the inner cities for a piece of turf on a street corner to sell drugs.
Well, I'm
if they didn't call each other the N-word, This is not this is a manufactured movement. This is not an organic movement. This was planned way before Dallas, Texas. This has been going on. This was all orchestrated to run against the generic Republican candidate, much like the 99%, 1% was manufactured to run against Mitt Romney. This was all contrived to run against whoever the eventual Democratic nominee was. At the time, it wasn't Donald Trump. It could have been Jeb Bush. It could have been whoever. Just name your Republican. It would have been they're racist and Black Lives Matter. This is not a spontaneous movement.
But sorry.
No, go ahead.
But didn't this start? I mean, this started 3 years ago before the presidential race even started.
No, this started in Ferguson, didn't it?
Yeah, Michael Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that was August 9th of 2014.
Yeah, so that would have been in Obama's first.
No, that's 2 years ago.
That would have been the midterm.
Second.
That would have been the midterm of his second term.
Okay. Yeah, that's where it all started, and I have made contact with someone. I don't know if someone's going to call in. Obviously, they're all downtown getting ready to start the rally and the march, but I have asked a couple people to call, and Jebediah, just pay attention to when that phone rings, and just tell me who it is, and let's get them on the air because we're going to run out of time if not.
Mac, go ahead.
515-244-0077. That's the voice. That's the line I'd like you to call so I can hear your voice. I do. I want to know what you think. I care about what you think. If you don't want your voice heard, then simply text at 515-809-0993. Christopher?
Well, it's just, we're talking a lot about what Jesus had to say, and I think Jesus would have a lot of stern things to say to Frank, and I think one of the things that he would say to Frank is take the plank out of your own eye. I think one of the things that we've got going on in our country right now is that each and every one of us is pointing the finger. We stand somewhere, and we stand in our own righteousness. We stand in our own self-exaltation, and we point the finger.
Ooh, that's a big word for you. Self-also-syncopation. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Self-syncopation, something. I can't even say it twice. It was
exaltation.
So I'll never try to do that again. I really, I went outside my pay grade. I apologize. But that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. That's what Frank just did. He wasn't just a racist and a bigot. He was arrogant, and he was wrong. And Jesus will say, you know what, Frank, you're wrong. Shut up. First, what you have to do is you have to take care of the junk in your life, because you stand as though you're righteous. You stand as though you're holy. You stand as though you're better than everyone else, and you point fingers.
Am I out shooting cops?
And I'm honestly, in all seriousness, I'm kind of tired of the whole thing. This thing last night was incredibly exhausting to me. This is incredibly exhausting. What happened in Orlando is exhausting. This is exhausting. The two young men that are dead are exhausting. Folks, people are dying. There's sin in the world. As Christians, we have good news. But part of our good news is that there's sin in the world. Guys like Frank, for some reason, tend to forget that. I tend to forget that. I'm a sinner, Mac. And what that means is that when I stand here before you, I don't stand here before you as some righteous judge that can come and stand before you and tell you what's wrong with your life. I get to say, you know what? I'm broken. I'm busted. I'm the first one that puts my hand up that says, I need a savior. I need one. You need one. We all need one. And I think the problem right now is that even amongst the church, we're pointing the finger and saying they all need to get religion and need to get God and get those relationships. We need to get on our face before our God and say, I need you, because I'm enraged. I don't know who to be mad at. And Jesus says to me, calm down, Bubba. Calm down and get right with me.
515-244-0077. Did you want to say something? Sounded like you were going to pop in. Okay, Frank, you want to defend yourself?
Well, let me suggest this. If cooler heads don't prevail in this country, there's more Black Lives Matter than there is cops. And if they had a mind to, they could literally set every major city in this country on fire, and nobody would be able to stop them. So I don't know who's at fault, but somebody better get control of it. And it sounds like to me, since we got an African-American president, Mr. African-American president ought to say cooler heads ought to prevail here.
The opinions of Frank the Verse are not that necessarily of J. Michael McCoy, Chris Roloff, Janelle, Bob, or anybody else in the room. Thank you.
I don't necessarily disagree with Frank. I mean, cool heads need to prevail. You know what? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is dead, man.
1968.
I just read his speech when he, at the Nobel Peace Lecture.
So are we saying that we aren't cool heads by protesting? Because they're usually peaceful protests. I mean, yes, don't get me wrong. You've got the few people that are a little, obviously Dallas. Okay, don't support the shooting. Okay, but
what about these people who are coming in out of town with the precise effort to have anarchy and start riots and start things where cities catch on fire, like in Ferguson, like in Baltimore? They could do that literally in every city in this country.
They can, and the few people have. But at the same time, we've got, majority of the people who are in these protests are peaceful protesting, and we're just trying to be heard.
All right, 515-244-0077. Little Frankie's on the air, or on the phone. I want to get him on the air. Frankie, how are you?
I'm doing good, sir. I'm doing very well.
Good. Now, I know that, thank you for calling in, too, buddy. I know you're involved with the Black Lives Matter organization.
No, I'm not.
Oh.
I'm not. No. I know a lot of them, and but I would never. I think sometimes they take a too general of a stand on something, and it goes with some of the arguments I hear on your side, and if I'm wrong, but where they say, well, there's all these gang violence, why don't they stand up to the gangsters? And I get a little of what you're saying, but it also shows that you. And again, doesn't show that a lot of you don't understand what they're really trying to say is that cops are killing us and they're getting away with it. It's different than a gangster killing a kid because the cops are going to go get them or someone will. So that's the difference. Like, you just don't understand. If they were killing white Christians, you'd be like going crazy.
Yes, you're correct. I would be.
And I'm not trying to put words in your mouth.
No, it's all right, buddy. I love you. So what I hear you saying is that I don't want to put words in your mouth either, but you really believe there is a mentality within some or all police departments in which minorities are target practice and not a human being.
Nope. I'm gonna break it down for you, and this is the most truth in this. I've talked to high-ranking people about this, and they all agree that I'm right, and not that I'm right, but this theory is right. Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, just going down to Dallas, down that area. You go and look at the police forces. The city is predominantly black, and the police force is white. Where do you think they get the white kids from? The suburbs. That's who these guys become cops. Not saying they're picked on guys, but they are fearful of black. They've seen it on the news growing up. They heard it in their neighborhoods talked about. They grow into this job with a fear of the citizens that they're there to do something for. And fear is the hugest motivation. That's why they're so quick to shoot. But a white guy runs by with a gun. They're like, hey, stop, buddy. They get fun of it. But you know what I mean, though.
No, I got you.
They don't just shoot and say, oh, well, he was armed. Black people, it's the truth. It's a fear. They fear because they've never been around them. And that's what the police and the FBI and all them people need to start training their people by going in and having empathy for, working in them communities, doing different things before they become full-on officers. That's my theory, and I think that would fix some things. But, me, man, I don't know nothing.
Yeah, well, you don't miss words either. Janelle?
I actually agree with what he's saying a little bit in the fact of it's a huge training problem. It really is. And the fact is we don't realize how little bit of training that these police forces have, and then like how they have some crap certificates for things that they don't even need. It's like playing G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
And so I think he's really touching on something important there. It's training.
Real quick before you let me go, and I'm trying to get other people to call in, like Will Keeps, the rapper, and stuff. But anyway, there's a thing where they say an SR. We put out an SR. An SR is the word for cops to just whoop on you. And they did it to the white kids. They do. But it's like a gang mentality, and the SR stop resisting. All they got to do is push you a little bit into the other cop, and that's what they do. The one cop will be behind you and push into the other cop. Hey, stop resisting. Wow, you're socked right in the face. Now, the black people, they have them pull out guns faster than they do white people. You know why? Because they have empathy for white people. That's like, oh, he looks like my cousin. He looks like my uncle. They don't see that when they see black people. That's the truth.
All right, Frankie.
Network. Yep.
It's always your voice I want to hear. Now, I've only got like 15 more minutes, so if you can get somebody. All right, buddy. I know you are. Thank you.
Get
all right.
Producers on this. Okay.
Yeah, right. There you go. Little Frankie was my producer for many years, and the book American History X was written about his life. Okay, we're coming back live here on The Truth.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs,
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
4:38, 22 minutes before the top of the hour radio or Salem Radio Network News, and then Hank, the Bible Answer Man, a worldwide live show. You can call your questions in at 1-888-ASK-HANK. Lots of people in the studio today, lots of people on the phone. As we sit here, we are 21 minutes away from a Janelle protest, rally, march, all those words fit?
I mean, I want to say rally, and I guess the reason why I picked that word is because it's people rallying together, getting together, coming together as a group to, I don't want to say fight because it's peaceful, but, to express how we're feeling. I feel it's a way of expression, rallies.
Now, help me understand something, because you and I don't know each other very well. You just used the word we. So you must feel akin to the Black Lives Matter people.
I do.
Okay. And you're not black?
No, not at all.
Tell me their mindset in Des Moines, Iowa. Can you? I was hoping they would call in, but you may be the best next thing. So what is their mindset? You heard Frankie talk about the fact that they're afraid, that the cops all come from the suburbs and they haven't been trained correctly. Is that where you're coming from too?
Yeah, pretty much. I feel that there's just been a lot of actions done by the police that's created the mistrust with the black community, and that really does. The black community is touching on the racism, because what I said wasn't trying to take away from what the Black Lives Matter people are going for. I was trying to bring up that we need to bring this together as a whole subject, and that it's not just the black community affected by this. But they have such a strong argument because they are targeted by police on a constant basis for the racism. I mean, you look at a black man walking down the street, maybe his boxers are showing a little bit, he's got a baggier shirt. I mean, you're automatically going to assume he's a gangster. We can't even wear white T-shirts into a downtown, going downtown. You can't even wear a white T-shirt and get into a club. Why? Because you're a gangster. What? That's crazy. It's profiling.
515-244-0077. I would disagree with you a little bit. Profiling is simply discernment. Okay? Yes, when a cop says because his skin is black, I automatically believe him to be carrying drugs, a gangbanger, has a gun, etc. I agree with you that that's incorrect. But truth is truth. And when there's a guy walking down the street and he wants to look like a gangsta and he wants to dress like a gangsta, it's not wrong for me to say he's probably a gangsta.
But who says that's what a gangsta looks like? I mean, what I actually try to kind of show people too is we have this general idea of what gangsters look like. But let's go back to the mob times. Let's go back and look at the mafia. You would be surprised actually how many more dangerous people live in the suburbs undercover than they do in the hood. The hood is more of, the hood's probably not the right word to say, but the lower income areas, they're struggling people, but you'd be surprised, who's your next door neighbor.
515-244-0077. That's the number you can call if you'd like to comment on this. We also have a text line that you can text your comments at 515-809-0993. Chris, you are deep in thought here because the truth of the matter is last night in Dallas kind of messed with you. Is because it's your home state or?
Oh, no. It's just because, death and evil in the world, that stuff, it bugs me. I think it should bug me. Don't you? I mean, doesn't all this death make you sad, Mac?
Yeah, well, yes. Yes, no? I look at, after Jesus bugged me, I look at death a little bit differently, okay?
Death doesn't bother you anymore.
I'm not bothered by death, no. I for myself personally and any other Christian woman or man who has a relationship with Jesus, it doesn't bother me at all. What bothers me is when I go to a funeral, at a funeral home, because there's no church involved. And the only person who knows Jesus in the room is probably the chaplain who has been brought in for $150 to say the ceremony of Bob was a good man. Bob was a father to two. Bob did this, and Bob did this, and Bob did this, and what a great life he lived, and maybe someday we'll all see Bob again. You don't have to say maybe. Either Bob had a personal relationship with Jesus Christ or he didn't. I'm sorry if it's offensive for me to ask, did Bob have a relationship with Jesus? Because I'd like to think Bob's going to be okay. And that's why we as disciples have to make sure we're out telling people about Jesus.
I was taught to celebrate every life and mourn every death. And I would like to try to do that. And I mourn people's death, blacks, cops, whoever. And I mourn it because I don't know if those people accepted the good news of Jesus Christ before they died. But what bugs me is that some people are exploiting other deaths and ignoring other deaths.
I don't think though, and this is what makes me tired, is you're exploiting. We're all exploiting death, not just you. We're exploiting death by talking about this.
No,
death is unnatural. Okay, we'll get a little theological here. When God created humanity, He didn't create them to die. Right? How many of us remember the Adam and Eve story, right? God created male and female and made two kinds. There they were. They fell into sin. The punishment for their sin was death. Now, 10 out of 10 people die. 100%. We all die. That's how it works. Death is a product of sin. So when I say sin, and as I was saying sin earlier, I'm not just talking about breaking the law or some sort of moral thing. I'm talking about the big overarching thing that frustrates the daylights out of us. Death makes us mad, right? Injustice makes us mad. We should be mad. We should be angry. But what's the solution? I love this is how Dr. Martin Luther King ended this. Do I have time? He said, every crisis has both its dangers and its opportunities. It can spell either salvation or doom. In a dark, confused world, the kingdom of God may yet reign in the hearts of men.
All right, quarter of the top of the hour. Thank you, Chris.
There's more to say on that. That probably doesn't make any sense without context.
All right. I'm not going to identify this person simply because he's a public person, but on my Facebook, sorry to chime in, don't want to be that guy, however. Black people probably feel completely let down. These are a group of Americans that feel like outsiders in their own country. This is an embarrassing problem to have in the 21st century. What's truly frustrating and sad is where is the focused leadership from above, the White House, with a plan of unity, a plan to help Americans heal and learn from this. Well said, well said. Jill said, whenever I see a cop with someone pulled over, I pray for their safety. Without even knowing who is in the car, I wouldn't know. I pray for their safety. 515-244-0077. That's the number you can call if you want your voice heard. That's the studio line. Jebediah will answer. If you simply want to make a statement on text, it's Service Legends Truth text line is 515-809-0993.
The wisest man in the world, Solomon, said it this way, that basically we're not to fear death, it's to be celebrated. It's more of a celebration than the day of one's birth. So again, I'll just go back and reiterate my point. My concern is, did these people that died, whoever they are, get to accept the good news of Jesus Christ before they died? That's my main point in all of this.
But death is sad regardless.
No, it's not, because Solomon says it's to be celebrated. It's better than the day of your birth. Argue with Solomon. Those aren't Frank's words. Those are Solomon's words.
I would gladly argue with Solomon about that.
Well, someday you may get a chance.
He can call in at 515-244-0077.
Call in on the Jesus phone. You know, Batman had the Bat phone. We've got the Jesus phone. All right. Bill from Des Moines is standing by. Bill, I'm going to take you in a couple of minutes. If you'll just wait 2.5 minutes, please, because I'm up against a hard break, and I think what you have to say is important enough not to try to cram it in quickly. All right, Chris is here, Frank's here, Bob's here, I'm here, Janelle's here, Jebediah's here, and you're here. And you're the most important person in the room. Thanks for listening to The Truth. The Truth, 99.3.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common, everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
All right, 10 minutes before the top of the hour, 4:50, 8th day of July in the Lord's year 2016. It's today, days like today, that I honestly say to you, thank you for listening. I love this job. Been doing it 43 years. And I got to tell you, I'm as excited today as that first day when I signed on at KWBE in Beatrice at age 14. So this is what it's all about, folks. This is what live talk radio is all about. It's now. You can't push rewind and fix the word or take something back that's been said. And in today's digital world, this show's going to be around forever. I mean, if you go to any website that we're associated with, 993, or what is it? 993 The Truth or The Truth 993.com. You go to macmccoy.com. You go to webcast1live.com. You go to any of these websites. You can pull the webcast and or podcast up, and it'll be there forever. Wow, that's incredible. All right. Did you have something? I think I cut you off. Oh no, where's Bill? Where'd Bill go? Bill! All right. Well, Bill, call back, 515-244-0077. I know it's a long time to hold.
We were just talking in the break here a little bit about it. I think...
Yeah, you were kind of arguing with that.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
No, I wasn't. We were agreeing.
Because I told her I just gave her something, she can smack you.
Yeah, that's fine. You can always... Yeah, Anyway. Man's inhumanity to man. That's what's got to stop. And I think that we're...
Hold on. Man's inhumanity to man. Okay, I got it.
That has to stop. It just has to stop. I don't care. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what it is. It's got to stop. And the frustration that all of us feel, the people in the Black Lives Matter, the guy here, how about this? What's his name? I forget. Or Micah Johnson. Micah Johnson. He's mad because people are dead.
But he kills 5 people and injures 10 more.
Right, and that's not good. That's not the right response. What I'm saying is he's mad because people are dying. We should be mad that people are dying. The issue here isn't whether or not we get mad. It's how are we going to stop this? And the reason why I quoted this Martin Luther King here in what he said is the kingdom of God that he was referencing is talked about in the first epistle of John. It's the love of God. God is love. The kingdom of God, the light in the darkness. Light in darkness. Right now, what we feel in the United States is darkness. And both, by the way, both of our presidential nominees are creating more darkness. Our sitting president, I don't know that he's doing all that great of a job bringing light on this subject. I agree with your friend who sent the Facebook page in. We need light in the darkness. Where is the light coming from? As a Christian, I go to John, the Gospel of John, chapter 1. The light is Jesus. Jesus came into the world. He brought light into the world. That is the hope that the world wants. We want light in a dark place. Dr. Martin Luther King fought this same fight with nonviolence. And that's what we've got to be doing.
Right, Janelle.
But, and again, touching on what he's saying as well, too, is I'm not condoning what they did, but he's mad. It's desperation.
Sure.
Who's listening? I mean, honestly, this has been going on for years where it's actually been active in the media constantly. I mean, I watch the news every single day, and I can't, even locally, it's happening here.
Yeah.
And it's desperation. Again, I'm not condoning it, but people are acting out because what's been done? What has been done? Nothing. I don't believe so. And again, too, I haven't heard a single presidential candidate mention this. And this is one of the biggest topics, if you ask me.
It is, and half of them are inciting more of it, and the other half of them are blaming guns. Ain't guns' fault.
No,
it's never going to be it's never going to be a gun's fault. People are in a desperate situation. They're angry, and yeah, they've got a gun and they're using it. It's the frustration they feel that's causing them to do this thing. And Democrats are blaming the guns, and Republicans are blaming every ethnicity group and borders, and we're going to build a wall, and I'm sick of hearing about the wall.
Well,
it's just a bunch of money attempts to get money from Trump. But anyway.
You don't think there will be a wall of
course not.
President?
Do you know Ronald Reagan and George Bush debated in their debates when George Bush was running against Ronald Reagan
yeah.
to be the president? They talked about it in debate about building a wall on our southern border. Republicans have been talking about building a wall for a long time. Shut up. It's not going to happen. Nobody's going to build a wall. The only reason why Donald Trump is talking about it is because he wants to get your money. He's not going to build a wall, guys. He's just going to get you to elect him so that he can do whatever he wants.
You are such a pessimist.
I'm not a pessimist. The guy's he's a businessman. He's a good businessman. And now as a good businessman, he's running in politics. What is politics? 90% lying is what politics is.
In the interest of disclosure, as someone who was alive when that deal went down, Ronald Reagan was promised by Democrats that the flow of immigration would stop. It only increased.
Oh, and then Trump will get elected, and he'll say, I was going to build a wall, but the Democrats said that we're going to stop the immigration, so they won't build a wall. It'll be the same excuse coming up as it was back then.
Unless you advocate for open borders, how are we ever going to determine who's here and who's coming across and who's leaving, coming and going? How do we determine that?
A wall. That's what determines it.
No, come on.
If you just build a giant concrete wall, the giant concrete wall will determine.
You're being sarcastic.
Yes, I'm being sarcastic.
Okay, so what's the answer?
What's your answer, Frank?
Are you saying open borders?
No, I just said that building a wall is a lie. They're not going to build a wall. That's all I said.
Oh, okay.
That's a different question.
I'm not saying it'll get built or not, but I think the wall's the only answer.
Okay. So the wall will solve the problem. That's okay.
No, the wall will not solve the problem. The only solution to this problem is Jesus.
Anyway, we should be upset about death. We should be. We should be. Every single one of us should be upset about death. We should be upset about the death of the cops. We should be upset about the death of the young black folks. We should be upset about death. We just should be. The question is, what are we going to do with our frustration? As a Christian, I run to someone who gives me hope. I run to the same God that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. ran to. The one who proclaimed light in a dark world, the one who proclaimed nonviolence and love in a place where there is no love. That's who I run to.
Jesus.
Yep.
Okay. Well, it's a Friday. That means we're done. Say prayers for me. I'm making a down to my hometown and back tomorrow because I am giving the address at a class reunion. I would love to be here tomorrow at the Leadership Summit. Del Tackett's one of my favorite guys. Stephen Corey's one of my favorite guys, but I can't be there. So would you go for me and listen? And then when we come back on Monday, we'll talk about it a little bit. And because I want to know what you heard this weekend that motivated you, that lifted you up, that made you feel like maybe there's hope. I mean, this whole thing in Dallas comes on the heels of the Leadership Summit in which we're trying to find hope through Jesus for this country. Not just in the church, not just outside the church, within society. Okay? And as always, I ask you at the end of this show to please think of someone that you have a resentment against. You've had it way too long, and it's time to give it up. And I want you to forgive that person. And just say it before God. Just say it before God. That, Jesus, I am sorry that I have taken this resentment against this person. And Lord, please forgive me and forgive them. Because remember, even though our God is an almighty God, he can't forgive you unless you forgive others. I'll see you at Hope. Have a great weekend.